Mark Sedra is a senior fellow at the Center for International Governance Innovation, and he's an expert on Afghanistan. He joins me tonight from Kitchener, Ontario. Thanks very much for being on the program with us tonight. October is turning out to be a bloody and deadly month. I want to talk first of all about the Canadian soldier that we learned late today has died. Is the situation getting worse?
Well, it certainly appears that it is getting a little worse. We've seen now that this is the deadliest month for U.S. forces since 2001, since the initial intervention in Afghanistan. We're not seeing any decline in the number of soldiers that are being killed and injured in combat. And we are, and this is even entering winter, which is characteristically you see combat start to decrease and the level of the intensity of combat start to decline. So this are certainly worrying signs.
And it sounds pretty simple, but there's one school of thought out there that more troops equals more violence. What are your thoughts on that, given the fact that U.S. President Barack Obama still has yet to make a decision about adding more boots on the ground?
Well, in the short term, if you deploy more soldiers, you are going to have more contact with insurgents, so inevitably there will be probably increased levels of violence. However, over the long term, that greater number of soldiers will over time be able to better handle the situation, better protect the local population, earn their trust and support, and by extension gain better intelligence and deny sanctuary to the Taliban and other insurgent groups. So another school of thought is that over the long term, with more resources at the disposal of commanders on the ground, along with the proper political conditions, you could see an improvement in security conditions.
What's the long term and what political conditions are you referring to?
Well, in terms of political conditions, I think that it's necessary to have a regional political framework and security framework in place. Of course, you're never going to be able to deal with insecurity properly in Afghanistan unless you've dealt with the issue in Pakistan, and we see the Pakistan government is gripped in a deadly battle with Taliban insurgents of their own. I think that it's important that eventually there is a widespread or broad process of reconciliation that will reach out to moderate elements of the Taliban movement and other disgruntled factional actors, because in the long run, there is not one military solution for this problem, that the military component is only one part of a broader strategy for Afghanistan, which includes both politics, the political strategy, and development.
Let's talk about security. Today, we learned of those 2 hours of terror at a UN Guesthouse. There was also an attack on a luxury hotel. How does this happen when these were thought to be safe and protected areas?
Well, this is certainly a disturbing sign. This area of Kabul is probably among the most secure areas of the entire country. Would be similar to what you saw, what was the green zone in Iraq. So anytime there's an attack of this magnitude in this particular area, it is a disturbing sign. It's very hard to prevent all attacks. There's certainly the Afghan security forces as well as NATO have thwarted more attacks than you could probably count in Kabul and surrounding areas against both international and Afghan targets, but eventually some of these attacks are going to get through. But what it does show is that the Taliban is becoming more bold, they're becoming more sophisticated. The fact that they're using police uniforms is also a troubling sign, and we've seen this before. It's not the first time we've seen guest houses and hotels attacked. The Serena Hotel, which a rocket was fired on, as you mentioned, there was a severe attack there a couple of years ago, which killed several internationals as well. So this is not a good sign, but on the other hand, this is a tense time in Afghanistan. You have to expect some of these attacks to get through.
Mark Sedra, thanks very much for talking to us tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.